everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is Deepavali and today's topic is something green as well. Okay, so without further ado, let's go to the topic, which is all about CPF. Okay, so I'll be talking about everything you need to know about CPF because as Singaporeans, CPF is such a huge part of our life, right? Yeah, so anyway, let's go. Okay, so if you didn't know, CPF is a mandatory social security savings scheme that is funded using contributions from employers and employees. Okay, so it's applicable for Singaporeans, okay, and PRs. So when does a CPF account will be open is when you do your first contribution, it will automatically be open. Okay, so will also be open if a CPF board receives cash top-ups or government grants into your CPF account. Okay, so it is applicable to people who are either Singaporean or permanent residents employed via a contract or service. So this one is not for self-employed. Self-employed will be later. I'll tell you about self-employed later. Okay, so contract or service as employees, whether it's a contractual, permanent, part-time or casual, earning at least $50 for employers, you will need to start contributing, earning $50 monthly, or employees, when you start earning $500 monthly, then you will start contributing to your CPF. Okay, then for self-employed, self-employed is like a business or you work for yourself, you will still need to do MediSave contributions instead of the 3 accounts contributions. Okay, so 30 days from the issuance of this thing called the Notice of Computation or Contribution from IRAS or CPF board. Okay, so if let's say one day you leave Singapore permanently, whether you revoke your Singaporean or PR status, you can withdraw all CPF monies. However, if you return as a SG and PR one day again, you must refund the amount withdrawn plus any accrued interest to CPF account. Okay, so for a CPF account, we have 3 account types for 3 basic needs before 55 years old. So what are the 3 accounts? It will be the ordinary account, special account, as well as the MediSave account. Okay, so all these accounts, when you contribute to them, they will earn interest. Okay, so these are the interest that you will earn. But for each and every member, the first 60% of their combined balances of all this will earn an additional 1%. Okay, so can earn up to 5% interest. So let's say you have 60k just nice spread across these 3 accounts, all 20, 20, 20. Okay, they will give you 1% here extra, 1% here extra, and as well 1% here extra lah. Yeah, so first 60k only. The remaining is based on these rates. Okay, when you reach 55 years old, your retirement account will be created for you, and then they will first take the money from the special account to make up your retirement account, and then after that take the remaining from ordinary account if the special account is not enough. Okay, so for CPF members aged 55 and above, they can earn an extra 2% on the first 30k and then extra 1% on the next 30k. Okay, so basically a bit more than, they give a bit more interest to people who are above 55 years old lah. Yeah. Okay, so one question most people like to ask is the CPF interest rate fixed? The answer is actually no. Okay, so how is the interest rate actually determined? So it's actually reviewed quarterly, and the rate is computed based on the 3 months average of the major local banks rate. Okay, so for the recent one is actually 0.09 for the period of this period, and then why is it not 0.09 for our OA is because it's subjected to the legislated minimum interest of 2.5%. So currently we are still at the interest rate floor for OA. Okay, and then special account and MediSave, this one is also reviewed quarterly, but how is this rate computed is based on the 12 months average yield of the 10-year Singapore government securities plus 1%. Okay, so if this amount is actually higher than our floor rate of 4%, they will actually give us this rate. Okay, but currently as you can see, is actually 3.06. It has not reached 4%, so there's no need to increase the floor rate currently for special and MediSave account. Okay, then retirement account is a different way of computing also. This one is reviewed annually, and the rate is computed based on the weighted average interest rate of the entire investor portfolio. Okay, so new savings credited to RA each year earn the 12-month average yield of this one plus the computed for the year. Okay, so basically whatever rate currently now, right, is only 2.34, and they are just giving us the floor rate lah for RA as well. Okay, so this another question about the floor rate. So whether they will maintain the floor rate. So at the current moment, the government has mentioned that they will extend this floor rate until 2023. So after 2023, no one knows. Depends on whether the government want to extend this floor rate. Okay. Then how is this interest computed and credited to your account? It's actually computed on a monthly basis, but they only credit the interest annually. Okay, so it's only credited to the account by 1st January of the following year and compounded annually. Okay, then CPF balances used for interest computation are affected by transactions in your account. So if, for example, you actually contribute this month, it will only start earning interest next month. So there's a time lag in you receiving your interest lah. Yeah. Withdrawal and deductions in the month will not earn interest from this month onwards. Okay, so there's a bit of like time lag. When you contribute this month, you only get interest starting on next month. But then when you withdraw this month, immediately you don't get interest this month already. Yeah, so this is the way the interest rate is computed. Okay. So now I'll share on how the CPF contributions actually work for employees. So for those employed. Okay, so actually there's a different rate for people who earn between $500 to $750 monthly, but this table is not commonly used as not many people earn that rate. So for the sake of this video, I will only share on the rates that are above earning at least $750 monthly. Yeah. Okay, so this is actually the table for Singaporeans, and then PRs from 3rd year onwards will also contribute based on this table. Okay, so for PRs on the 1st year and the 2nd year, right, they actually have a different contribution rate table. But since it's only applicable to the first 2 years, I don't think it's worth sharing. Okay, yeah, so how do they determine 1st year? It begins on the day of the SPR conversion, and then the 1st year ends on the last, so the PR 2nd year begins on the 1st day of the month after the 1st anniversary of the PR conversion. So means like if I'm start being a PR on 1st Jan, then after that next year I'm a PR 2nd year on the next year 1st Jan. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, let's take a look at the rates. So basically between when you are working all the way until 55 years old, right, the rate is always the same lah. It's 17.20 for employer, and then employee is 20. So it will make up 37% of your gross salary. Okay, then how do they allocate to the different 3 accounts? This is the allocation rate. So all this mostly you don't see it lah. I mean, you will only see it when you go and log into your CPF and check it. So as you can see, they will first allocate more amounts to your OA. This is to support you buying a house at the start. Okay, so as it progresses, you can see that they will contribute more to your MA, so that you can cater for your healthcare needs when you are older lah. Yeah. So SA is for retirement. So you can see here also increases, then OA decreases. Okay, by the time you reach 55 to 60, they will reduce your employer contribution. This is so as to not to strain your employers or your own salary too much. Okay, then after that it further decreases when you reach 60, and again decreases when you reach 65 to 70. Then above 70 is quite low already lah. Yeah, and then they mostly allocate to, you can see here lah, 10.5 all allocated to MA. So it's a huge focus on the MA, which is the MediSave account. So other than just now the previous slide, it's about 2022 contribution. There's a new contribution again in 2023. So government is always constantly revising the the allocations. But the allocation that they revise are mostly applicable to 55 and above lah. So young people like me and you are not affected by this CPF contribution change. Okay, so what is the increase is to give older workers more contribution to their CPF. You can see total plus about 1.5%, then plus about 2%, and plus 1.5. Yeah. Okay, so for people above 70 is not revised. Okay, so will be fully the change in, you can see here lah. So basically it will be fully allocated to their special account. So all this contribution rate won't change. This will plus, the percentage plus will all be here in SA only. Okay, so when should you actually receive your CPF contributions? There's actually a due date made by CPF board for the contribution. It should be the last day of the calendar month. Okay, enforcement will be taken against employers who fail to pay by 14th of the following month. Okay, so what are the payments that attract CPF? Okay, so basically anything that is classified as wages it attracts CPF. Okay, so wages can be broadly classified under ordinary wages or additional wages. Okay, so when you do the contribution, there's also a capping. So capping for both lah. So for ordinary wages, the capping is currently, it can change lah. Currently it's capped at 6K per month. Few years ago it was only capped at 5K per month, but now it has changed. It's now 6K per month. No one knows whether this cap will actually change in future. Okay, it's determined by the government. Okay, so for additional wages, currently the cap is all along is capped at 17 months of the OW. So 17 months of OW is 17 times 6K, so 102K a year. So the total cap for all the wages is capped at 102K per year currently. Okay, then 102K minus your yearly OW cap that you subject to CPF will be your AW cap. Okay, means like let's say you earn 6K a month, so definitely the 6K times 12 it will be 6K times 12 is what? 72. So your AW cap is actually 30K lor. So 102 minus 72 lor. So depending on your OW cap that you use up, then your AW will have a different cap. Okay, so this cap, right, is actually per each employer. So your previous employer won't know what your other employer contribute. It doesn't matter because they take this cap based on per employer per year. Okay, so let me give you some examples of payment that attract CPF. Okay, so it must be monetary lah and related to the job scope for it to attract CPF. Okay, some of the things are like basic wages is counted as a OW, so your monthly salary, OW. Any overtime pay that they pay you can be OW or AW depending on whether it's a last month overtime pay or this month overtime pay. Okay, then cash incentive usually is considered AW, depends. Allowance usually counts as OW but depends also. Bonus usually is count as AW. Okay, commission depends. So let's say you always receive commission in the same month that you render the work, it can be OW, but mostly it's AW. Okay, profit sharing is usually for the whole year one, so usually counts as AW. So what's the difference OW and AW is because OW is like wages that you actually receive for work done in that month. But if you receive wages based on work done in other months, not that particular month, it counts as AW. Okay, so red packet also AW, encashment of other flexi benefits AW. Okay, so what are things that not subject to CPF? Some examples are reimbursements. So reimbursements are actually because you incur them on behalf of your company. It's supposed to be your company expense, it's just that you are paying first, so it counts. It's not actually your wages, so it's not subject to CPF. Okay, then benefits in kind is because it's not monetary, that's why it's not subject to CPF. And then compensation re-termination, this is monetary, but because it's due to retrenchment kind of thing, they call it like term it as capital instead of income, so technically this is not subject to CPF. Okay, then bereavement, those kind of like sad things happening, 白事 yeah, so this one not subject to CPF. insurance payout not subject to CPF, and then some things like a restrictive covenant, like say you ask your you tell your employee cannot get employed by a similar company for the next 12 months. This is a restricted covenant payout. It's not count as wages because it's something as like, it counts as something like as if it's like capital in nature lah. Yeah. Okay, give vouchers that are not legal tender or convertible to cash is counts as you will not be subject to CPF. Okay. So let me give you an example on how the CPF contribution works. Okay, so basically, just now I actually gave an example, but let me give more examples. Okay, so let's say your salary is 7.5k a month, your bonus is 15k a year. Okay, so that because of the max cap on your monthly salary, you need to contribute based on 6k. Okay, so only this amount will be subject to CPF contribution. This amount will not be touched by CPF. Okay, so AW, so how to calculate your AW wage ceiling? Just now I mentioned minus 72k will be 30k left. So 30k is the max amount that you can subject to CPF, but because your bonus is only 15k, so only 15k will be subject to CPF. So like in this example, it says that entire annual bonus will be subject to CPF contributions. Okay, next example. So let's say in this year you have a job change. Okay, so let's say you are super rich, you are some banker. Okay, some banker you actually earn 20k a month, and then bonus maybe 100k. I know this bonus is not much, but usually bankers earn more bonus lah. But never mind, this is an example. Okay, so let's say your 1st January to June, right, you earn 36k. Okay, I mean you don't earn 36k, you earn much more than that, but because you cap at 6k the contribution, so the OW amount is only 6k for 6 months. So your OW cap currently is only 36k. So counting based on this, then your AW, how much can you contribute for your AW is 102k minus this 36k, and then 66k can be used to contribute for CPF. So your employer, right, your first employer can contribute 102k times 37% for you. So this is assuming this guy is below 55 years old lah. So this first employer already help you contribute 37740. Then you change your second job, your salary very high also, bonus even more. Okay, so same as this, also capped at the 6k per month for 6 months, and then AW is contribution is also 66k. So your second employer can also help you contribute 37740. So you actually contribute much more in CPF than other people if you actually have more than one employer. So whether it will be subject to whether IRAS will allow you both for tax deduction, I'm not very sure. You have to check your IRAS. So in some cases, those drawing a super big salary one, right, if you actually split your salary into 2 different companies, you can actually contribute more to CPF. That's if you love CPF lah. If you don't love CPF, then this is a useless example for you. Okay, so like I mentioned, the combined CPF contributions per year is actually more than your max cap lah. So it's 75480 per the year lah. So depending on your number of employers. So conclusion is you can actually contribute more than the 37740 cap that most people say per year into CPF if you have many different employers. Okay. Okay, next we move on to self-employed CPF contributions. Okay, so for this contribution is actually split into non-government pensioners and government pensioners. I'm not very sure what's the difference between government pensioners and non-pensioners, but most people will fall into non-pensioners lah. So like property agent, or like insurance agent, or like self-employed private hire driver, all this, you will fall under this most likely. So I believe your net trade income per year should be at least 18k lah. So you can look at this amount. So net trade income depends. I mean, if you are really earning this amount, then you go look at this. I'm just looking at the average. So average will be at least 18k a year. So this is the contribution rates. It's only a mere 8% of your net trade income, or 9%, or 10%, or 10.5%. And they also give you a maximum cap lah for each of the amount, depending on your years. So most people should be around this 8%, below 35 years, depending lah. Depending if you're old uncle driving, then you still need to contribute to your MediSave 10.5%. Okay. Okay, some CPF users that are before 55 years old. So just now we talked about the OA. What's the OA can be used for? Can be used for housing. So housing, what are the things that you can use for? Is the property down payment, house loan repayment, stamp duty, legal, survey and legal fees. So all these you can use your ordinary account to pay. Okay, you can use it to pay some insurance as well. The home protection scheme is actually more related to housing also lah, but we call it permit under insurance. Okay, another one is a dependent protection scheme. Okay, then your OA can also be used for investment under this thing called the CPF IS. So CPF investment scheme lah. So if you want to find out more details, you can refer to my CPF shielding videos for your CPF IS options. I won't be resharing it here. Okay, then other thing is you can use it for tertiary education also, either for yourself, for your child, for your spouse or your siblings. Okay, but then it has to be repaid with interest, maximum 1 year from graduation lah. So right after the person graduate, you need to start repaying this whatever you taken from CPF 1 year from the person's graduation. Okay, either yourself or whatever. So not really very wise to use the OA for your education unless you are really strapped with money, but make sure you can earn back the money to pay back CPF. Yeah. Okay, then special account also can use for investment. So this OA investment, right, is first 20k cannot invest. After you hit above 20k you can invest, but for special account is first 40k you cannot invest, then the remaining you can invest. Okay, so actually special account nothing much you can use lah, because it's supposed to be used for retirement and after 55 years old. Okay, then here comes the most interesting account of the CPF, MediSave. So MediSave can use for a lot of things, like really a lot of things. So the maximum you can contribute to your MediSave, right, is up to the prevailing basic healthcare sum. So every year this basic healthcare sum, right, will increase. But once you reach 65 years old, right, they will lock it in for you. So let's say your parents this year reach 65 years old, so their basic healthcare sum is really locked in at I think this year's rate is 66k. So they cannot contribute more than 66k to their MediSave anymore. If they are continuing to work, right, you will all go into their special account instead. Okay. Then what can you use your MediSave for? Pay for a lot of insurance like MediShield Life, Integrated Shield plans, CareShield Life, CareShield supplement. So if you're on the older one, like called Elder Shield or whatever, all these can be used from your MediSave. Okay, can also use to pay for your own medical expenses, your child's, your spouse, your parents, your grandparents, siblings, but subject to withdrawal limits lah. Yeah. So what are the medical expenses? It can be outpatient, it can be a chronic disease, it can be for vaccination, health screening, MRI, CT scan. So all these can use your MediSave to pay. And if there is any deductible co-payment from your MediShield or your Shield plans, you can, when you are hospitalized or you have a surgery, you can use your MediSave to pay. Yeah. Then other things is like long-term care for relating to rehab or palliative care, or you have disability. If you have a disability, you can withdraw a certain amount from your MediSave every month, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Okay, so after 55, you will have this thing called the retirement account. So to find out more about this retirement account, you can watch my CPF shielding video. So like I mentioned, your retirement account will be created from your SA first, then OA, up to your full retirement sum. So you can start CPF withdrawals at 55 years old. Before 55, you cannot withdraw at all. Okay, via PayNow as often as you like. So as often as you like, once you go and create a request to withdraw from CPF, they will pay you via PayNow. Okay, so it's quite easy to withdraw lah. So that's why recently got quite a lot of people gonna scam of their CPF savings. It's cause PayNow, I mean, it's so easy to withdraw your CPF savings nowadays. Okay, so what are the rules for withdrawal? How much you can withdraw? Okay, I'll just give you a brief overview. So like, if you own a property that can last you till at least 95 years old, you can withdraw all the assets above this thing called the basic retirement sum. So you can withdraw, let's say the basic retirement sum is 96k. Everything in your OA, SA, RA, right, you can withdraw. Excluding MA lah, don't care about MA. So after 55 years old, your MA still must be there one. No matter what, you cannot touch your MA one. Okay, your MA is only for medical related expenses. So if basic retirement sum is 96k and you have maybe 300k in all three accounts, you can withdraw the 300 minus 96. Okay. So if you don't have a property that can last you until at least 95 years old, you can withdraw all excess above the full retirement sum. So let's say full retirement sum is 192k, then you got 300k, you can withdraw 108k. Okay. However, if you have less than the basic retirement sum, what you can withdraw is only 5k lah. Yeah. So let's say you only got 20k in all the accounts, then you can only withdraw 5k. Yeah. So at 65 years old, you can withdraw the maximum of this formula lah. So whatever is in your retirement account minus any top up, because whatever you top up after 55 years old, right, it's not counted in this formula. Okay, times 20%. Then also the amount withdrawn between 55 and 65 years old. This is the maximum you can withdraw at 65 years old. Okay. Then the remaining amount in the RA, right, will be used to join this thing called the CPF Lifelong Income for the Elderly. So for short, we call it CPF Life. Or if you cannot meet the minimum for CPF Life, they will ask you to join this thing called the Retirement Sum Scheme at 65 years old. Okay. Or for people who are much older, they will have joined the Retirement Sum Scheme already lah. Yeah. Okay. So if you were not placed on CPF Life, you will be placed on the Retirement Sum Scheme, so like what I said just now. So however, if you wish to join CPF Life, you can choose to do so anytime before your between your payout eligibility age, which is currently set at about 65 years old, and 1 month before you turn 80 years old. So if right now you haven't turned 80 years old, you still can join CPF Life. Okay, but depending on the amount that you have in your RA, then the payouts will be different. So CPF board will send you a letter a few months before you reach this payout eligibility age with more information. Okay, you can choose your CPF Life. You can start your payouts anytime from the age of 65 to 70 by either doing these hard copy forms that come with the letter, do it online, or visit one of the CPF centers. Okay, so this table helps to illustrate what happened. So your RA has at least 40k, you can join CPF Life at 55. If your RA is less than 40k, they will make you join this thing called the Retirement Sum Scheme, but you can still opt into CPF Life. Okay, but the payouts are going to be much lesser. Yeah. Okay, so for retirement sums, right, if you didn't know, it's actually locked in at once you reach 55 years old. So just now I mentioned 96 and 19. Yeah, did I say 196 and 192? So anyway, yeah, I already memorized this 2022 amount. So the basic retirement sum is 96k, then the FRS will be double of this amount, which is 192k. Yeah, so that's where I got the values just now. And then based on this table, you can see the increase along the years for the basic retirement sum. So it's projected to be increasing at 3% per annum every year. So currently they only release this table until 2025. So we don't know beyond 2025 what is the basic retirement sum. It could be more than 3% because now inflation is going crazy, right? Yeah, so serves as a guide point in helping you set aside your savings for your desired retirement payouts. The basic retirement sum is meant to provide you with monthly payouts in retirement that cover basic only living expenses for the lower middle income retiree. Okay, so assuming one does not need to pay rent because that's why BRS is you need to have a house before you can withdraw above the BRS amount. So the BRS is also adjusted yearly to account for inflation and the improvement on the standard of living. And full retirement sum is double of the basic retirement sum, and this thing called the enhanced retirement sum is triple of the BRS. Okay. So what is CPF Life? CPF Life is a national longevity insurance annuity scheme. So it's an insurance actually annuity scheme which provides you with lifelong monthly payout no matter how long you live, which you can opt to start anytime from 65 to 70 years old. So let's say you every year you defer until 70 years old, right? Your monthly payouts will increase by 7% per year. So you increase For 5 years, then maybe can increase by 35%. Yeah, if you defer by 5 years, according to their website information lah. Okay, so there are 3 types of plans for CPF Life. One type is the escalating plan, which will start your monthly payout lower but increase by 2% yearly. So this one and the standard plan is different, because standard plan every year they will give you the same amount. Okay, but these 2 plans, the similarity is that 100% of the retirement account is utilized for this CPF Life premium. However, there's one more plan that is more similar to the retirement sum scheme, is this basic plan, which give very low monthly payouts that keep going lower lah. Why? The difference is because the CPF Life, the amount of premium that goes into CPF Life is only 10 to 20% of the RA, whereas this one is 100% lah. Okay, so this one is like you want less insurance, you want more insurance. Okay, so the monthly payouts, so first they will start you on these monthly payouts that come from the 80 to 90% of your RA that is not used in the CPF Life premiums. They will give this monthly payout till 90 years old, which gets progressively lower because your RA balance fall below 60k and the extra interest earned is less lah. So once your RA is depleted, right, your CPF Life payment starts at 90 years old. Okay, so technically this one is like the retirement sum scheme with 80% to 90% of your RA lah, which I think not many people go for this plan, because most people just go for the standard plan. I mean, the idea is like good, right? You get lifetime income no matter how long you live, so why go for the basic plan? I don't know, but yeah. I think more people would like to go for the escalating plan lah, because I mean, like, looking at how the inflation is ongoing, escalating plan is the best, right? And then you live longer, you get more monthly payout and then still keep increase by 2% yearly. Actually, increase by 2% yearly is quite low lah, but I think that's the way they calculated how this insurance can sustain lah. But yeah, so upon passing on, any CPF Life premium balance, so like I mentioned, it's insurance, right? So any CPF Life premium balance with the remaining CPF savings in the other accounts will be given to your beneficiaries. Okay. So this is an example. If you choose the standard plan, which is just now the center one, what amount of payout you can get. So if you CPF your premium you pay is 60k, you only get the basic few $100 a month. Okay, then if you actually want to get at least 2,000 plus a month, you need to have at least 400 plus k lah in your RA account. Okay, I think 2,000 per month for elderly not enough to sustain lah, because I still need to pay. Actually can lah, depends on what lifestyle you want to lead lah. Okay, so these monthly payouts are estimates based on the CPF Life standard plan. This information I got from the CPF website. Okay, for members who turn 65 in 2032, computed as of 2022. However, this payout is not confirmed. Payout can be adjusted to account for long-term changes in interest rates or life expectancy. Okay, such adjustments, if any, are expected to be small and gradual. Okay, there are also some other optional CPF schemes. So one optional scheme is to, I won't share all lah. I mean, there's too many schemes around. I just share of the more important ones. Okay, like more important ones are when you're below 55, you can do your OA transfer to your SA. Then if you are above 55, you can do OA transfer to your RA lor. But whatever you transfer to your RA, you cannot withdraw already. Okay, so for higher interest rate. So you know lah, SA and RA is 4%, OA is only 2.5 mah. So for yourself and your loved ones, however, if you want to do it for your loved ones, right, you own self must hit the basic retirement sum with property, or you must hit the FRS without property. And then for this, there is no tax relief if you do this. Okay, then this one will be a voluntary CPF contribution cash contribution to all 3 accounts. The allocation that they will give, right, will follow the contribution table for employees. So let's say you are 35 years old and below, you go and see just now that table that I show you. That's a split they will give to your OA, SA and MA. Okay. However, this is subject to the CPF annual limit of 37,740. So let's say you already have 2 employers, you already hit this cap, right? You cannot do any CPF voluntary CPF contribution already. Okay, but even though you do this contribution, there's no tax relief lah, so no point lah, nobody will do one lah, I think. Yeah. But I mean, if you love the CPF, then you want to do it, go ahead. Okay. So this CPF contribution to all three accounts, right? If you are employee, there's no tax relief. But then if you are actually self-employed, then you have tax relief lah. So depends on when you choose the contribution, you need to choose whether you are as a member or self-employed. Okay. Then there's this thing called the retirement sum topping up scheme to SA for those below 55 years old. So this one you can top up to the maximum of your full retirement sum. So let's say you already have the full retirement sum in your SA, right? You cannot do this retirement sum topping up scheme already. Okay. Then if you are above 55 years old, you can top up to an enhanced retirement sum. Okay. Then this one, tax relief will be available. However, this tax relief is only available before you reach the FRS. So this ERS, there's no tax relief. Just top up for yourself to enjoy this 4% interest rate. Okay, so this one is a maximum of 8K per year for tax relief for self. And then if you contribute to your loved ones up to their FRS, you can get another 8K tax relief. Okay, so this tax relief mostly, I think males will want it only because females, technically you get a lot of tax relief in your working mother child relief thing already. So more suitable for males. Okay, so this 8K per year, right, is shared together with this thing called the voluntary contribution to MA, which I will share below. This tax relief, I mean, yeah. So for voluntary contribution to MA, right, using cash, is only up to your basic healthcare sum. So like I mentioned, the current year's basic healthcare sum should be only 66K. So if you already hit the 66K, you cannot get any tax relief already. You contribute also no use. Okay, so tax relief available, max 8K for self, 8K for loved one. So just now, if you hit the FRS and you also hit the BHS already, both no tax relief for you. Okay. Yeah, so I mentioned this is shared with the RSTU. And then other ways you can build up your CPF is voluntary housing refund with interest. However, this one got no tax relief. So basically, it's like you have a house, you pay the down payment, all this, then you go and refund back to CPF before you actually sell your house. This is what you can do lah, voluntary housing. So it means that your interest will stop rolling then lah, because you already made your voluntary housing refund. Yeah. Okay, so this thing is very, very important. CPF Nomination Scheme. So this one you have to specify who to receive your CPF money when you pass on. And they will receive this in cash lah. So it's something like the CPF PayNow. I don't think it's using PayNow, but yeah. Okay, so CPF monies that are covered under this CPF Nomination Scheme are all your CPF savings in your OAS, AMA, and RA, and any unused CPF Life premiums, as well as discounted Singtel shares. Okay, so this one can be done, you can do this nomination online via SingPass or via post, or go to CPF Center in person. Okay, you need to take note, CPF monies cannot be distributed by will. This one I say many times already, but I will emphasize again. You cannot write in your will how much you want to give to each person in your will. No use one. They don't care. If you didn't do any nomination, they will distribute via this thing called the Intestate Succession Act, and it's actually chargeable by the public trustee. So if you got a lot in your CPF, the public trustee very happy lah. They get a lot of fees. Yeah. Okay, so what are CPF monies that are not covered under this scheme and will be covered by will is things like you buy properties using your CPF, doesn't matter. This one they will not touch. Okay, this one is covered by will or like insurance nomination. So dependent protection scheme, although you pay the premiums using your CPF, it is not covered by the CPF nomination scheme. You need to go and approach, dependent protection scheme is by GE lah. So approach GE to get a nomination form and nominate who you want to get your money. Okay. Then if you did any CPF investment scheme, CPF IS using OASA, this is not covered under this nomination scheme unless it go back to your CPF lah. But if you didn't surrender all this investment before that, it's actually covered by will. Okay. Yeah. So when should you actually review your nomination? These are some of the examples lah. It can be more, but these are the important things you should take note of. So like marriage, if you just get married, all previous nomination will be revoked upon marriage. So let's say you currently just get married. So previously you nominate your parents. Now you need to go and nominate your parents again because your marriage invalidated your previous nomination. Okay? Then if you actually marry and then after you divorce, it does not revoke your nomination. This is why you divorce already, you should go and check, is it still your ex-wife or whatever who is your nominee? So you should go and revoke the nomination. So you want to review your existing nomination in view of new marital status. Okay. So next is you have childbirth. So maybe you want to include your newborn as a nominee. Then you want to review your nomination. Okay. Then next is obviously if one of your nominee dies, then then you need to go and review lah. So if let's say you didn't go and review, then the deceased nominee share will be redistributed to all the surviving nominees in the same proportion. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's the end of my CPF video. So you got any questions on CPF, you can check with me or you can check with CPF board. Okay. So thanks for watching. Okay, so yeah, that's the end of my video. So here, wishing everyone happy Deepavali again. And then if you learned something new from this video, please help to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, that's all. Thank you everyone. Bye-bye.